Welcome to the Ill Blur Matty 365 channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the channel, Brother Blur from the Midwest. Ooh. Welcome back to Legends Community. It is the Blur from the middle of the map, and today I'm back with a new video. And today's new video is going to be on Nintendo suing the U.S. government over tariffs. Alright, so it seems like Nintendo has officially let it be known, best known for some of the most controversial lawsuits within the video game industry, of course, right? And it seems like Nintendo is actually suing for something that makes a lot of sense. So the first reason why Nintendo is suing the actual government over the tariffs is because the actual console, the Nintendo Switch 2 itself, the price went up. They had an original price for the Nintendo Switch 2, and due to the tariffs taking place within the actual year of 2025, this damaged them from actually dropping the console within the US because the console went up quite a bit more than it was expected. Because let's be realistic, gaming companies have expectations, and the expectations were not met because the console went up due to the President Trump himself. Surprising. That's a good angle. Nintendo out here like they stay scheming. Now the other thing that is surprising too is the pre-orders. So you remember Nintendo had pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. And unfortunately, the first batch came out, but the second batch came out at a later time, the exact same month as the Nintendo Switch was supposed to be coming out at retail stores, excuse me. And the thing is, that probably hurt it because they had to push back their actual pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2. So, Nintendo cooking, boy. Nintendo was cooking with this lawsuit. I said, boy, this is going to go down in history, all right? So the next thing is why Nintendo is actually suing. Also kind of makes a lot of sense. Not only did the actual game console go up, also the accessories that you could purchase with the Nintendo Switch 2. What? Yes, all right. So that meant that the controller, I know everybody talked about this one, controller was ridiculously high. The microphone went up that came with it that you could buy separately. The actual Joy-Cons, maybe the actual things that you could put your Nintendo Switch 2 in as a travel case. So the accessories also went up, and even probably the amiibos. I forgot to mention the amiibos too, right? Yeah, Nintendo, they've been strategizing on this. They had the Birdman hand rub going on. They were like, look, we want our money. So now let's talk about another reason why, because this is also something that probably also hurt Nintendo. So remember me talking about Nintendo had expectations, right? So yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 is another successful console, just like the previous Nintendo Switch, of course, right? But the problem is the expectations. They dump money into the game consoles coming out, of course. But then when the tariffs came along in April of last year, that actually took a turn for them, right? Because they had to stop pre-orders for the second batch of consoles to come out for the Nintendo Switch 2. And now when you think about it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can understand why Nintendo did what they did. They said, look, you ruining a rollout for our game console. You're messing up the pre-orders. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 was always going to be a general release. Let me just keep it a buck with y'all on that. Because that's what they planned on doing, releasing it in the month of June. You know, it's crazy, man. Crazy. I never saw this coming from Nintendo. Nintendo said, look, we want our bread, butter, mozzarella, cheddar, moolah, whatever you want to call it, off the bat, because this actually hurt our console when it comes to maybe expected sales for the actual console overall. And Nintendo said, oh, no. You just not gonna mess up our rollout and think ain't nothing gonna happen. That's what Nintendo said to them. They're like, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna play and put some respect on my name like Birdman. Interesting. This is a very interesting lawsuit. I could understand why tariffs did hurt maybe the sales, not the overall sales, because it's still doing well, but maybe the projected sales that they had for the actual game console, the Nintendo Switch 2. The more you learn, man, there's always something going on. And I'm telling y'all right now, this is the most interesting lawsuit I've seen from a gaming company. And it had to be B.I.G. Nintendo. B.I.G. Nintendo. But it is the hardest working brother on YouTube, guys. You tell me in the comments, do you agree on why Nintendo is suing the U.S. government over tariffs, or do you not agree with this? It is the hardest working brother on YouTube, guys. And I'm going to run that outro for you, and I'm out. Thanks for watching my channel. Like, comment, and share, and subscribe to the channel. The Ill-Blooded 365. Ooh.